Now, before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. You'll need to have both PHP 7.2 or higher, as well as MySQL installed on your machine. And I will assume you have a very basic understanding of those two. Now, you can check by opening up your command prompt. On the Mac, you might use terminal, or I use iterm. And we can run php-v to check the version. And you'll see at the time of this recording, I have 7.2.18. However, if nothing comes up or you have an old version, you might want to update. On the Mac, I recommend using Homebrew. It's simple, easy, and quick. You'll see this little command here. You can paste into your command prompt. That'll pull in brew. And once it's available, you can run all sorts of commands to pull in what you need. For example, I could say, brew, let's search for PHP. And here's everything that pops up. And notice, I've pulled in PHP 7.2. If you don't have that, you could say brew, install PHP 7.2, and that'll get you up and running. Next, the same is true for MySQL. Now, again, you'll see I already have it, but otherwise you can pull it in yourself. Now, if you're not on a Mac, you might consider using these all-in-one installers like WAMP or XAMPP. Especially on Windows, this is incredibly popular. Next, the code editor. I'm sure you already have one you like, and you can use anything you want. I will personally be using PHP Storm in this series if you want to match it as much as possible. Otherwise, Sublime Text is fantastic. Visual Studio Code is fantastic. Just pick the one you like. The next step is installation. Now, if you review the Laravel docs, you'll see lots of references to Composer. And in particular for newcomers, this can be a little overwhelming. You think to yourself, my gosh, I can't even install the framework without first learning about all this other stuff. It's a little overwhelming. I get it, you're not alone, but you know what? Composer is sort of the bedrock of modern PHP development. It will not take you long to learn, I promise. Composer, as it says here, is a dependency manager. It gives you an easy way to pull in various packages or dependencies. For example, maybe I need an easy way to work with dates. Well, I could pull in a tool called Carbon. Maybe I need a way to fake data, attributes and values and numbers and paragraphs, things like that. I could pull in a package called Faker. And as it turns out, the Laravel framework itself pulls in all sorts of dependencies through Composer. Let's get this on my machine. I'll visit the downloads page. We'll copy this here and run it. There we go. So you'll see we now have a new composer.far file. So in fact, if we give it a run and I expand this, we've now run the Composer utility. And you'll notice if I scroll down, we have all sorts of things like installing a dependency or updating our dependencies. Anyways, at the moment, this composer.far file is in my code directory, but I want it available globally. That's our next step. Let's visit Getting Started. I'm using a Mac here, but for Windows, you'll follow number 4. And let's see. We're going to move that file into my user local bin, and we'll call it Composer. Let's do that now. And that should do it. So now, even if I'm on my desktop, I should be able to run this new Composer utility. And there we go. So at this point, you should have both PHP and MySQL installed on your machine, and Composer should be available globally.